Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of the most difficult trading card games to get into. Since September of 2019, I've been spending £30 a week on sealed products trying to create my own competitive dragon deck from scratch. No trading and no buying individual cards. So far we've spent over £1,000 on packs and achieved a second place regional top, securing an invite to the next European Championship. The ultimate goal is to top one of Yu-Gi-Oh's largest, most competitive events, and this is my journey. You're watching Yu-Gi-Oh! From scratch. Hello and welcome back to the second last episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! From Scratch, number 48. Ban list review. Oh. In the last one, we finally pulled Daddy Dragoon and paid homage to our roots by playing a rocket-heavy build of dragons without the noodle fiber shenanigans. In this one, as promised, we have the ending to our Salamangreat side quest. Having pulled the access code talker engine purely by accident, we're able to serve up a much more powerful version of our salad and hopefully not butcher the plays this time. Ich bin no salad spieler, okay? Wait, what time is it? Sip time! Yes, the fattest of thank yous and shoutouts going out to Carlo Bujas, Bellark, Yukiko Best Girl, Christine Nguyen, I never know how to pronounce this name but I see it everywhere, The Legend of Neos, and Matt Cormack. All of these guys have allowed for the continuation of garbage content from Papa Revs here by making a contribution through either Patreon or YouTube channel memberships. While we are on this subject, I will mention that YouTube has introduced channel personalized emojis. YouTube channel members can use these in the comments section of videos now, and we've got quite a few good ones, so test them out. If you want to make your own contribution or gain access to these emojis, then links, as always, are in the description. Alright, so we're actually going to have a very different list compared to the last time we did this. I've been doing a little research and seen some pretty interesting things being done with the deck, so hopefully we can try them out with at least a little bit of success. There's two specific cards that I'm after today, but with our £30 budget this week, that really shouldn't be a problem. So like the video, and let's get into it. This, I promise you, this is not a joke. We are actually opening this thing today. Super Starter V for Victory. I have no idea what this is. Is this like a starter deck? Honestly, no idea, but this is from like a good solid few years ago. Coming in at £16.50 from our £30 budget. We can combine this with the Codebreaker starter deck, which comes in at £8.50, so that's £25 for both of these, leaving a perfect fiver for 2 packs of Battles of Legend Armageddon. One last chance to try and get the Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon, or, you know, like Utopia, or... Oh my god, imagine pulling a Starlight Utopia in this episode, that'd be sick. But yeah, 2 packs, very unlikely, but hey, we can pray. So we're gonna start with this bad boy because I'm excited to find out what one power-up pack is. It's quite sad to see that they've stopped doing things like this where they include like packs with the deck. I would love to see like a booster pack included with a deck. Basically, our first ever win condition that we were searching for involved Utopia Double, but we never did get our hands on, hey, this is pretty cool. We never did get our hands on the Double or Nothing, and turns out it was always readily available as a common in this little deck thing here. So let's check out the playmat. Here we go, proper starter deck this, telling you all your phases. No extra monster zones, obviously, but no pendulum zones. Was this before pendulums? Oh my god, this is 2013. Wow, man, this is history. History right here. Yeah, pretty basic looking thing there. Obviously, we have our starter guide, Magic Cylinder, very nice. And we have the deck here, but we have a power-up starter pack, and I have no idea what's in this thing, so let's see if we can... I mean, I assume there's got to be hollows in here, right? I don't know. I feel like I'm opening like a fat tournament pack. Alright, so We have a number 30, Acid Golem of Destruction. Yo, that's pretty cool. Okay. Number 6, yo, look at this number collection we got going on here. We can now legally FTK our opponent. Very cool. MST, yo, in super rare Magic Cylinder. Oh, Utopia. Oh my god, look at all these holos, bro. Okay, MST and Magic Cylinder, that's very nice. This is actually a rarity bump to the commons we got in the structure deck all the way back in episode number 1. Utopia Ray V, very cool. Don't think we'll be using that. Rank up Magic Limited Baryons Force, one of those rank up spells. And then I think we're back to the commons here. We have Eagle Claw, Ganbara Lancer. It's like Toon Gaia the Fierce Knight meets Buster Blader. I don't know, dude. Kakuna Thighs, very cool. Bite Bug, got Pac-Man here spitting out all his balls, and a Crane. So very odd pack there. That'd be so cool to get with a starter deck these days, honestly. Here we have the deck. So we have Utopia Ray on the front there, which can be used nicely with the Utopia Ray V. This is some real old school stuff, dude. I assume we get the standard Utopia in here as well. So Utopia Ray, yep, there we go. Super Utopia, this I think was its first printing, I assume. Cosmo Queen. Got some vanillas here. Trance the Magic Swordsman, Neo the Magic Swordsman, Mystical Elf, man. Starter decks are so like nostalgic to me. Gaga Child, okay, this is a little bit past my time. I have no idea what all the Goo Goo Gaga stuff is. Magical Undertaker, Clawcrow, Gaga Magician, Gaga Girl. It's like budget remakes of Dark Magician and Yugi's stuff. Gaga Gardna, yo, Big Shield Gardna. Zubaba Knight, Gambara Knight, Achacha Archer, oh my god, dude. Goblin Bird, Kakedokaki, Tasuki, Unicorn Spear. That thing looks pretty cool. Marauding Captain, Old Vindictive, Burning Light. Never seen this thing before. While you control no monsters, monsters your opponent control cannot declare an attack. Interesting. Blustering Winds. This was a very, very good card in one of the Yu-Gi-Oh games that just stopped you from getting over your opponent's stuff. Wonder Wand, Double or Nothing. There we go. So this makes our Utopia double playable, and we're actually going to be playing it today just for old time's sake, and because we actually can play it in our Salamangreat deck because they do make rank 4s. We have Ego Boost, Gaga Revenge, Xyz, Absolute Unit. Yo, is that Link? No. The A forces, we got the A team here protecting this little ginger. Reinforcement of the army, we've got Rota, the warrior returning alive, Puzzle Reborn, Gaga Shield, Copy Knight. Genuinely looks like he's digivolving. Very interesting. Impenetrable Attack. This was a good card in Duel Links, I think. Or am I thinking of something else? I can't remember. Utopian Aura, I'm talking a good like 6 months ago, by the way. Xyz Effect, Shadow Spell, Dust Tornado, Dark Bribe, and Call of the Haunted. Some real classic staples there. But Double or Nothing, very cool little 7-year-old deck there. Let's crack into one of these Battles of Legend packs. My hopes aren't too high with these, with just 2 packs, but hey. Formud Skipper in Ultra would be nice. Complete our playset. We have Steam Synchron. This thing was actually short printed. Appliancer, Laundry Dragon. We got the walk-in washing machine with some clippy claws. Appliancer Reuse. Oh my god, we got another Appliancer core in a pack. And Fossil Warrior Skullbone. Is this the card that some Dogmatica decks are playing? No, there's one where you can banish it from the graveyard to destroy a monster, which is pretty cool, I guess. Alright, the Codebreaker starter deck. There's only one card that I know I'm getting this for, but there might actually be some other playable things in here. So taking a look at the beginner mat, same as last time, just a proper basic thing. This one does have the pendulum scales and the extra monster zones, but it doesn't have the phases. There's just no room on the mat for everything. I mean, I guess you could put them like here, but that would just be kind of weird. All right, moving on to the deck, we have Cyber's White Hat at the front here. No Duel Links promos or anything in these older decks here. But yeah, we have Cyber's White Hat and the boy we came for, the Transcode Talker, which is going to make our Access Code Talker engine a whole lot better. And then the rest I think is useless. We'll go through it anyway. We have Widget Kid, Cynet Not Mining, Cynet Recovery, Continuous Spell, Pentastag for that piercing damage, a bunch more normal vanilla monsters. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling really nostalgic with the vanilla border today. I really need to get my hands on some like Legend of Blue Eyes or something. Text Changer, Bitron, Ram Clouder, Link Slayer. Is this Link? Nope. Here we have Backup Secretary, actually, so we could play this as an extender in Salamangreat deck, maybe, I think, but didn't it come as a rare in Toon Chaos? I don't know. Right, Launcher Commander, a big old tank-looking thing. Client, haha, Betrooper, Flamvel Guard. We could summon this off of Unexpected Die as well, but Galaxy Serpent's just better. Beast, King Barbaros with his big ol' lance there. Don't really think he needs the shield, to be honest, but hey. Cyber Dragon, Xarion Universe, just a bunch of starter deck staples. Thick old booty, deal 1000. Man, this card is peak performance. It really is. Raikou, Battle Fader, Swift Scarecrow, just some nice starter staples here. Cynet Universe, Scapegoat, Reborn, Dark Hole, MST, Book of Moon, United We Stand, Card Trader, Burden of the Mighty Ego Boost, Supply Squad. Do we have a Cynet Conflict in here? We have Cynet Regression, Shadow Spell, Call the Haunted. No, apparently not. Another Mirror Force. God, we have so many of those. Torrential Tribute, Bottomless, Zero Gravity, Compulse, and then Decode Talker, Link Spider, and Linkaribo in common. Rarity downgrades to some of our cards here. But I suppose these are the cards we were really just needing. Into the final pack here. Do we have any luck points left? Let's find out. We have Malefic Paradigm Dragon, Raz Disciple in Ultra, Utopia the Lightning. Oh, that goes with our Utopia themed decks today. Salamangreat Gazelle, very nice, rarity bump, and Dark Armed, the Dragon of Annihilation. We got Dada himself. Yo, we can't play. We actually could play him with Absorouter and Noctovision. That's 2 level 7s right there. Then boom, he hits the field and wrecks face with those big ass claws of his. So right, I've been doing some Salamangreat research, and there's some actual interesting things we might be getting into today. So let me go figure some things out, look out our cards, and put it together. Okay, so we have our list sorted out, and it's really not what you would expect from a Salamangreat deck. Or maybe it is, and I just know nothing about Salad, but right off the bat here, we have a very small Salamangreat monster package in the form of 2 Spinny, 1 Falco, 1 Jaguar, 1 Foxy, and 1 Gazelle. We're not playing Desires, so we only need the 1 Jaguar, and because our Salamangreat package is so small, Foxy is less likely to resolve, so we've cut that down to 1 in favor of other normal summons. So 1 Lady Debug and 1 Flame Bufferlo. Obviously, you would like to have multiples of those, it's actually quite important, but we don't. So to fill the gap, we've got the 3 Formud Skipper, and obviously to go alongside that, we have the 3 Parallel Exceed. Not running Rafflesia, unfortunately, but that does mean we are not running Gravedigger's Trap Hole, and therefore, we're not going to see it in every opening hand. So nothing too crazy so far as we go into the hand traps. Obviously, we're going to be running 3 4-heads, but we also have 2 Nibiru, 2 Veiler, and 2 Phantazmay. Impermanence would be better than Veiler, but obviously that conflicts with the Phantazmay. I think all of these hand traps are very good against the best deck of the format. Obviously, Dragon Link, hell yeah, brother. Especially Phantazmay, you can get like draw 4, which is crazy. But going into the Spice, we have a microcoder. I thought we had more than 1, but unfortunately we've only pulled 1 out of Toon Chaos. So to kind of replace it, I've put in Scrypton as a semi-generic extender that can also be searched off of Formud Skipper, assuming we have Parallel Exceed in hand already. And then we go into the 2 Iblee. Man, I never thought this card would ever be good again because it's just giving your opponent free Link material. But outside of Salad, no one's really running a Link 1 that you can use Iblee for, so the idea is that you give them the Iblee and then wait for them to commit their normal summon, then you flip Rage and pop the normal summon, locking them out of special summons. Their last resort would then be to crash the Iblee into your monster, but that's where Salamangreat Sanctuary comes in because you can change your Link monster's attack values to 0, therefore keeping Iblee on the field. Obviously on top of that we have the 1 Circle, 1 Will, and 3 Cynet Mining, followed up with 3 Super Polymerization, so we can easily deal with those Dragoon boards, 1 Monster Reborn, kind of acting as a second Will and another way of getting Iblee off, and of course our double or nothing. That's really my main goal for today, getting off that Utopia double and going in for the 10k smack, just to really hammer home the double or nothing today. But rounding off the 41 card main deck, we have our 3 Salad Traps, 1 Roar, and 2 Rage. I think we are missing some key pieces to make this build work sort of consistently, but I love the idea of it with the Iblee, and I just wanted to try it out and have a little bit of fun, which is the main goal for today. So moving swiftly into the extra deck, we have 3 Balinks and 3 Sunlight Wolf, 0 Heat Leo, and no Pyro Phoenix, which I thought was super interesting. Obviously, they don't really run Pyro Phoenix, but the lack of Heat Leo is really cool. We have an Update Jammer, Transcode Talker, and Access Code Talker. That's one of our main power plays to go in for the kill, but moving on here, we have Code Talker Inverted, and this thing special summons a Cyburst from your hand. This combos super nicely with the debugs and the Bufferlos that we don't have, but moving on, we have a Phoenix and a Mud Dragon of the Swamp for Super Poly because we don't have Starving Venom, 1 Abyss Dweller, and then the cherry on top, we have our Utopia and Utopia double. When people are making their Dragoon boards, they have to pay 2,000 life points for Verte Anaconda, which puts them in a more lethal position when it comes to Utopia double. Even over the Dragoon with the attack buff after the negate, you're still getting bang on lethal with 6,000 damage. That's something I would really like to see happen today, but going into the side deck, it's basically the same as our Dragon Link side deck. We have the 3 Gamma and the 1 Driver along with the Imperms. We have 3 Cosmic Cyclone to deal with some back row, Imperial Order, and 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance for going first, and then finally we have a Pankratops and a Tornado Dragon for subbing out the Dweller against decks that, you know, don't really care about Dweller. So all round, an actually pretty interesting Salamangreat list. If you haven't figured it out already, this was heavily inspired by a video I watched on Bear's channel. The boy seemed to know what he was talking about when it came to Salamangreat, so I thought we should give it a try and see if we can replicate the same sort of success. I will leave a link to that video in the description if you want to go and hear some of his explanations. But dude, it just sort of goes to show that even with a deck like Salamangreat, you can still be experimental and do some interesting things. I know Gage or Nyhmnim recently started his sealed only season 2 with Salamangreats, and a lot of people were disappointed at his choice of deck, but I think he should definitely be able to win them round by doing some interesting things, because even though the deck might be figured out competitively, sealed only is all about the journey and working with the cards you acquire on the way to building that competitive deck. So Gage, if you're listening, love you, senpai. Anyway, I think it's about time for us to go Iblee lock someone for the first time since about 2018. But just before we get into that, I want to show you some maths here. Every time I upload an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! From scratch, we're hitting roughly about the 30,000 view marks, and over 30% of you aren't subscribed to the channel. This is consistent every time I upload each individual episode. So what are you doing? That's like 10,000 subscriptions. We could be so close to 50,000 subscribers if you just hit the damn subscribe button. Come on, do it for Papa Revs. Anyway, let's go smack some people with Utopia double. Oh my god, it has been so long since we've had a real life duel on this series. It's been over 6 months of Yu-Gi-Oh! From scratch with purely online content. Honestly, when I think it comes to content and watching a video, it's much easier to understand what's going on when it's visually displayed on an online simulator. But at the same time, it lacks the charm of, you know, just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So I think going forward, where possible, I'll try to have a mix in my content. And of course, that means the return of the shaky ass table camera. Of course, all of our in real life duels are following the safety guidelines with social distancing and masks on, and for shuffling the decks we sort of tell each other where to cut, like so. How many from the tills? Let's go with 31. Oh my god. So for round 1 here, we lose the die roll and are made to go first against a blind second build of scraps. That's another thing I've kind of missed with the real life format, is that not everyone always has the best cards available to them like they do online. So you're not typically going to get hit with a triple tactics talent and a forbidden droplets and a dragoon every game in real life like you would online. It definitely makes for some more casual but interesting gameplay. So going first here, we're going to fire off the normal summon of a Formud Skipper and link that Skippy into Balinks, going Chainlink 1, Balinks, and Chainlink 2, Skippy, search for Parallel Exceed. I kinda needed both of those to resolve with the hand I had, so when we get hit by the Ash Blossom, it hurts a little bit, so I'm forced to set a Super Poly and pass turn. Our only Super Poly target, Muddragon of the Swamp, is actually pretty good against scraps because they are typically all Earth, the same attribute, but different types. So while we're not in the best position board-wise, I am feeling pretty confident that we'll be able to stop him. Down comes a Scrapyard, which searches for a Scrap Tuner, so he's going to get an El Goblino to hand. This is followed up with a Desires and then a second Scrapyard because it's not once per turn, searching for a Scrap Orthros. From there, 2 Earths are destroyed in hand for the summon of a Lithosagium, which is going to tear our extra deck to shreds, Our access code talker gets yeeted, which really takes a lot of power away from our deck, and on top of the access code talker he also gets rid of a Balinx and a Sunlight Wolf. This does kind of hurt our grind game, but we do still have a win condition in the deck.
Fuck, no! No! Oh no!
Oh man, that feels so good, getting in that one punch kill in the first game of the episode that we get the double or nothing. Ah, that makes me so happy. Anyway, for game 2 here, we're going to get a little bit of deja vu, because once again we're going first, and once again we're going to start with a Skippy going into the Balinx, except this time I do the Balinx as Chainlink 2 and the Skippy as Chainlink 1. Unfortunately, we're going to get Gamad on the Balinx, so that's going to get totally destroyed, and no Sanctuary for us, but we will get the search for Parallel Exceed. I did mess this up because I had Salamangreat Circle in hand as well, so if I had chained that to the Gamma, then I could have summoned the Gazelle when Balinx got sent to the graveyard and continued playing, but hey, it's a set 1 pass for me. Passing it over to Hunter, he's going to start with a Scrapyard, getting a search for El Goblino. Normal summoning a Scrap Recycler is going to allow him to dump a Crystron Rosenix, which can banish itself from the graveyard to summon a token, and then he's going to special summon a Orthros from hand, which on summon is going to pop his own Recycler. A very roundabout way of getting to the Crystron Halki Fibrax, which is also going to trigger our Phantazmay. So fixing up our hand a little bit, Hunter summons a second copy of a Dirty Goblin from the deck, allowing him to then link into a Scrap Wyvern. This is a very good card that can quite easily generate quite a lot of advantage and resources, so a very good opportunity for us to flip Salamangreat Rage here to get it off the field by pitching a Gazelle. Now he's already used his normal summon and I think gone through most of his Scrap Monster effects, so there's not really much he can do. He does follow it up with a Desires, but that doesn't really get him anywhere, and it's over to us versus an empty board. Starting off with a Flame Bufferlo and with the Exceed still in hand from the previous turn, we can make it to our other win condition. Round 2, once again we lose the die roll, except this time we're made to go second because we're up against Infernoble Knights. I open up a pretty decent going second hand, and you'll see that in a minute. We just have to figure out how to use our interruptions against the combos. So starting off with an Yugioh, Claff dumps a Renaud from the deck to the graveyard, which he can then add back to his hand through Infernoble Arm's Joyous. From there he summons the Renaud from hand, counting as a tuner here so he can synchro into a 5. Ignoble Knight of High Lonzolin, and this thing can equip a Noble Arms spell from the deck when it's summoned, so he's going to get a Durandal from the deck, which can basically just search any fire monster. Firing it off right away, he searches for a Ignite Pendulum monster so he can scale it along with the other Ignite he has in hand, allowing him to get a search for another fire monster. So this is how they set up their Gearfried before 5 summons, and therefore have a negate for when Nibiru is alive. Oogie in the graveyard can equip himself to any warrior monster on the field, which is all Gearfried needs to activate its negate. So from here he quite confidently summons a Fireflint Lady from the hand, and then links into Isolde, activating her effect on summon. Not so fast, my dude. So here we throw down a Phantazmay and a Nibiru. Obviously the Nibiru is going to get negated by Gearfried, but we can then go on to Ash, the second effect of Isolde. It's just that easy, man. You just have to open your outs. It's that simple. He will activate Phoenix Blade in graveyard to get it back to the hand, equip it to the Gearfried so it has a live negate, and it's over to us. Firing off a Salamangreat Circle, we're going to get a search for Gazelle and normal summon the Gazelle, not activating its effect because I don't just want to lose it to the Gearfried, so I link it into the Balinx, Chainlink 1 Balinx, Chainlink 2 Parallel Exceed in hand. They are both allowed to resolve, however, after Exceed hits the field on its second effect, that's when it gets hit with the negate by Gearfried, because otherwise we just go into the access code talker and smack him down. So now I just activate Sanctuary, reincarnate the Balinx, and then go to the battle phase, swing into the Isolde with Phantazmay, set to back row, and pass it over. Not the hardest board to deal with in the world, but he is super low in resources, so we should be able to take control of the game here. Once again, he adds back the Phoenix Blade to his hand, and then activates Augie in the graveyard to equip itself to the Gearfried, so I chain Rage, popping his target. Really not much else he can do here. He does set 1 and pass it over, and I really should be able to just swing in and take the game in this turn. He has 7,200 life points, so an access code talker and a Phantazmay would be enough to win the game, but because I can't go through the update jammer, I don't quite see that line of play. I grab a Spinny off the top for turn, so we're going to normal summon that and link into the Sunlight Wolf, reincarnate the Sunlight Wolf, and then bring the Spinny back to its zone so we can trigger its effect to add back Gazelle. And then Permanence gets flipped on the Sunlight Wolf, and I don't have any cards in hand to activate Phantazmay, so I have to flip the Salamangreat Roar here to negate it and get the Gazelle. I then have options when it comes to Sunlight Wolf's second effect. I can either add back the Rage or the Roar, and I do choose to add back the Rage. This would be correct because I could then link into a third Sunlight Wolf using using the Sunlight Wolf we already have to activate Roar and get that back to the field as well, but obviously I'm not a Salamangreat Spieler, so I don't see it. I link the Spinny into another Balinx, punch him down for about 4,700 points of damage, leaving him with just like 2,400 left or something, and pass it over.
And
oh, really? I should have picked the roar.
My life flashed before my eyes as the evenly match came down. I thought this was going to be the big turnaround, but thankfully he had nothing to follow it up. He just passed turn, allowing me to just swing in and kill him with the Gazelle.
5.
okay, to the bottom. You are 7 to the bottom.
Alright, game 2, obviously going second once again, so I've sided in some extra hand traps like Gamma. That is usually just enough if you can drop it on the Isolde, but we'll see what happens.
60 cards. 60 cards, boys! Really?
I should you know, whenever you record, I really get the voice of its existence.
Hell yeah. Not gonna lie, my hand's not amazing. Normal summon Foxy.
Yep, watch the Smooth Gazelle.
Wow, really?
Fucking outscale, Jesus.
Hell yeah, bro. Professional salad spieler.
Round 3! Unsurprisingly, we lose the die roll once again, and we are made to go second.
It allows me to draw 2 cards from my deck.
After drawing 2 cards, he fires off a Reasoning, and I really don't know what level to call. We're against Witchcrafters, and I think they're all different levels, so I call 3, and he mills a crap ton of spells until he gets to a Jenny, which is level 1. Jenny is able to tribute herself plus send a Witchcrafter spell from the hand to the grave to special summon a Witchcrafter monster from the deck, and he goes for Miss Smug. She has 2 pretty relevant effects. One is a quick effect Dark Ruler no more by discarding a spell, and the second one is during damage calculation she can reveal a number of spells when a Witchcrafter monster battles, and it gains 1,000 per spell revealed. Usually pretty tough to deal with in combination with Golem Aruru, but he's going to fire off a Magician's Souls as well to get a Linkaribo on the field. He's also going to set a monster, so basically just walling up here, and then in the end phase all of the Witchcrafter spells in the graveyard that haven't activated their effects will trigger, allowing them to either add themselves back to hand or place them on the field. So really not a terrible setup at all, but if we can get to the access code talker we can just blow it all up. So it all comes down to the one Miss Smug negate. Drawing for turn, I opened all 3 Cynet Mining, so we're going to fire off a copy of that here by discarding another copy. Searching for the Gazelle, I then go on to normal summon Lady Debug and activate her effect searching for Spinny, link into Balinx, and that's where we get hit with the negate on Miss Smug. So we don't get the Sanctuary, but with Gazelle and Spinny in hand we can easily just make the access code talker machine go Game 2, we're made to go first this time, and we opened 3 Cynet Mining in Game 1, we opened 2 Cynet Mining in Game 2, come on man, but we also opened Circle, so I'm not complaining. Using our 2 Rotas, we're going to search for Skippy and Gazelle, normal summoning the Skippy to link into Balinx, getting a search for Sanctuary and Exceed. We don't really do anything too crazy, all we end on is a Sunlight Wolf and a Dweller, but Dweller's actually pretty good against Witchcrafter because it stops basically all their spells adding themselves back. We are pretty good for resources in hand as well, so I'm happy enough just to pass it over, and our opponent's going to start with an Extravagance, which we're going to say no to with our Forehead. Unable to really play into the Dweller, he just sets a monster and calls it a day, and I think we know where this is going. So 3 matches and 3 wins today playing with our new Salamangreat deck. Man, Utopia Double and Access Code Talker are just so easy to win with regardless of how good or consistent the actual main deck is. I am a little bit sad that we never got to make the Iblees and the microcoders work, but I think our version of the deck is missing the critical draw and search power through things like Bufferlo and Debug to actually make it consistent. But hey, we had actual real life duels to watch. How refreshing is that after 6 months of just online stuff? Definitely gonna have to get at least 1 in the final episode, and speaking of, it's time to move on. Well, that's us done with all the side quests now. We did the 2-in-1 today, pulling the double or nothing and playing the final version of Salamangreat. We could have probably built an objectively better list, but I wanted to try out the Iblee after seeing it. Is that normal for Salamangreat now? I honestly have no idea, but regardless, it worked out pretty well because Access Code Talker is just that insane of a card. We now, however, move towards the final episode of Season 1. I'm so excited to start working on it, and something that I am going to include in the final episode is statistics throughout the whole series, like how many times we've been Nibiru, how many times we've been Super Poly, stuff like that. So if there is a specific statistic that you would like to see in the final episode, then let me know in the comments and I'll take the popular ones and probably include those. The release date for the final episode is going to be Saturday the 26th. You could probably figure out why. But we're going to release this video through a premiere so you can actually watch it live with everyone else with a live chat on the day of release. It's usually a pretty bad idea to release videos this way, but I wanted to try it out and see what it's like. I will of course be there with you in the chat and I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to wrap this episode up now. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have made it this far, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will see you on the 26th. Bye.
Gravel road, I've been asked to slow down. Fireplace, do you